Sorry guys, hold on. Let me get my shit together here. Okay, alright. Greetings, I'm Mr. Grimreaper again, and welcome to another edition of RIP from the Silverscreen. Tonight, me and Dark Knight 97 go back to 1988, the year I was born, as we review the horror comedy, the 1988 horror comedy, which was directed by Tim Burton, the legendary Beetlejuice. As I said before, this movie was directed by Tim Burton. It stars Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and Michael Keaton. And this film, the music was done by the legendary Danny Elfman. So, let's talk about Beetlejuice.
Indeed.
Me and Dark Knight 97 remember this movie so damn well.
Yes.
So we're gonna go through the plot, like always, we always do when we do our reviews. We're gonna go through the plot, and there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. So I just want to let you know, if you haven't not seen this movie, what the hell are you doing here? Get your ass to a video store, pick this up. I'm pretty sure they might have it on DVD somewhere, or even look online. They might have it there. So, as always, we are going to talk about this. So here we go. Barbara and Adam Maitland, the Maitlands, decide to spend their vacation decorating the idyllic Connecticut country home. As the two are driving home from a trip to town, Barbara swerves to avoid a dog, and the car plunges into a river. This is why I hate dogs. After they return home, Adam decides to retrace their steps, as they cannot recall how they got home. Upon stepping outside, he is taken to a desert world with monstrous sandstorms, later identified as Saturn. Before being pulled back in by Barbara, even though he had been gone less than a minute, Barbara claims that he has been gone for 2 hours. She and Adam notice that they now lack reflections, and they discover a book called The Handbook for the Recently Deceased, and realize that they did not survive the crash. The house is sold, and the new owners, the Dietzes, arrive from New York City. Charles Dietz is a former real estate developer, his wife Delia a sculptor, and his goddaughter Lydia. Oh, please make another one where she's a lot older.
Well, hopefully so, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Alright, back to this. From his first marriage, is an aspiring photographer. Under the guidance of interior designer Otho, Delia begins to transform the house into a posh, modern art piece. Consulting the handbook, the Maitlands travel to the netherworld waiting room populated by other distressed souls, where they discover that the afterlife is structured according to a complex bureaucracy involving vouchers and the usual overworked caseworkers. The Maitlands' own caseworker, Juno, informs them that they must remain in the house for 125 years. Damn, that's a long time. If they want the Dietzes out of the house, it is up to them to scare them away. Barbara's and Adam's attempts at scaring the family prove counterproductive, despite their ability to shapeshift into monsters. While the Maitlands are away seeing Juno, Lydia discovers the handbook and reads it. Although Adam and Barbara remain invisible to Charles and Delia, Lydia can see the ghost couple and befriends them. Against Juno's advice, the Maitlands contact the miscreant Beetlejuice, Juno's former assistant and now freelance bioexorcist ghost, to scare away the Dietzes. Oh, there's a freaking scene that we're gonna have to talk about here later on. That scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. However, Beetlejuice quickly offends the Maitlands with his crude and morbid demeanor, and they did reconsider hiring him. Though too late to stop him from wreaking havoc on the Dietzes, the small town's charm and the supernatural events inspired Charles to pitch his boss, Maxie Dean, on transforming the town into a tourist hotspot. but Maxie wants proof of the ghosts. Using the handbook of the recently deceased, Otho conducts what he thinks is a seance and summons Adam and Barbara. But they begin to decay, as Otho had unwittingly performed an exorcism instead. Horrified, Lydia begrudgingly summons Beetlejuice for help, but he agrees to help her only on the condition that she marry him, enabling him to freely cause chaos in the mortal world. Beetlejuice saves the Maitlands and disposes of Maxie, his wife, and Otho, then prepares a wedding before a ghastly minister. The Maitlands intervene before the ceremony is completed, with Barbara riding a sandstorm through the house to devour Beetlejuice.
It's already raining.
Yeah. Finally, the Dietzes and Maitlands agree to live in harmony within the house. Beetlejuice is stuck in the afterlife waiting room. There he attempts to cut in front of a witch doctor who shrinks his head in retaliation. Being Beetlejuice, however, he remains upbeat. This could be a good look for me. And meanwhile, Adam, Barbara, and Lydia are seen in the remodeled part of the house dancing Harry Belafonte's Jump in the Line, with Lydia floating in the air to celebrate Lydia getting an A on her math test. That's cool. Alright. So that's the end of that. Let's talk about the scenes here. Okay. There's one particular scene that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. Do you remember the scene where they're upstairs? They're upstairs, and Beetlejuice turns into a big giant snake.
Oh God. Yeah, not that part.
Yeah. I can't watch that scene. That's the only thing I can't watch in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it is scary as crap. But as far as everything else goes, this movie was funny as hell.
And Dad, she drinks, and I think that.
And I love this movie a lot.
Yeah. I was gonna text you, but I didn't.
What did you think of the? What did you when you watched this movie, man? What did you think of the movie? What did you think of the movie of Beetlejuice?
At first I thought it was, kind of freaky. But there was, some funny parts, and it was, I mean, at first it was a little, like I said, a little freaky, but, and that part of the whole snake situation, yeah. Oh gosh. But, this movie is classic, and I me and him grew up on the cartoon series, but, yeah, this movie here, like I said, not only was it was just, there was some funny spots. Of course, the funny part where they're all dancing. Oh God.
Yeah, this film had like really gothic overtones with it, especially with Tim Burton as director for it. This dude knows how to direct a film. But I think this is, especially with Danny Elfman as composer for the film, they did a good job. The music was really good, especially one of my favorite parts in this movie was when the Dietzes and Otho and there's some other couple or something like that. They're all sitting around in the freaking. They're all sitting around in the dining room area. I'm trying to remember. And Delia starts singing like Harry Belafonte and stuff like that. They start singing Deo by Harry Belafonte. That scene there is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Every time I watch it, I laugh my ass off. It is hilarious. I thought how they did during the exorcism scene. I love how they made the Maitlands look like they were just crumbling. They were just I love how they did the makeup with everything. How they did the makeup on the Maitlands, during the exorcisms, when Otho was doing the exorcism, they start turning into they start turning into dust. You remember that, dude?
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, there was a lot of stuff in this that I like. Oh, it's raining bad out there over here now. Crap.
Oh wow.
Yeah, sorry guys. But anyway, but yeah, I love this movie. It's still one of my favorite Halloween movies to watch every Halloween. And Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, he is funny as hell. And
Yeah.
he is funny as hell as Beetlejuice. There's a part where him and the Maitlands start arguing with each other and stuff like that. They end up leaving his world and they end up going back to the normal world. And he, I forget what he says, but he pissed off. He pissed off Adam. Adam was trying to, and I guess he turned into like
Oh my God, Judas in that rain.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Oh.
It's alright. Don't worry about it. Let me get this. But anyway, I forgot what that scene was. When Adam turned, I guess it was Juno that made the house like like a whorehouse or something like that. I don't know, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some stuff that I remember and some stuff that I can't remember for this film, but there was some stuff that I really liked for this one, and I think.
Oh my God! I need Judah to get home. Sorry, son.
All right, that's alright, Mom. Sorry, guys. It's just my mom. But anyway, man, I can't even remember anything. I can't even remember the rest of this movie for the life of me.
It's a long time, this movie came out years ago. I mean, this is an old flick, so of course, bear with us, this is 1980, this is the year he was born, and so bear with us this. We don't remember a lot.
I've seen this movie 200. I've seen this. This is the problem with me. This is the problem. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I've seen this movie 200 times in my life, and I should have watched this movie before I did this. But I remember somewhat of the film the part where the voodoo guy that Beetlejuice was sitting next to when he sprinkled that stuff on his when he sprinkled that dust on his head and his head went shrunk. I thought that shit was hilarious. Not to mention the fact that he was I'm glad that he got slapped in his fucking face by that dead chick. That he would remember he was messing with her leg. He was touching her leg and stuff like that, and she smacked the dog shit out of him. That shit was funny. What did you think of the Maitlands? How did you feel about Adam and Barbara?
Well, I guess, I mean, but let's see, I'm moving over here, but, anyway, well, Barbara and Adam, I mean, I guess, what you would say,
I thought that they were, yeah, I thought they were kind of a little too goody two shoes as far as everything else goes.
Yeah.
I love Lydia. Winona Ryder played Lydia really good. I loved her. I loved Lydia not just in the live action film, but also in the cartoons too. Because Lydia was always the one, especially in the animated series. She was always the one that kept Beetlejuice on his toes. If y'all guys know what I'm talking about, but what did you think of Lydia, dude?
Lydia?
Yeah.
I play that I went on about her. Man.
Yeah.
And of course, you need the daughter and having your teenager and stuff like that. The singing. And then she can summon. Because I'm a Beetlejuice. Favorite part about her is when she's in the air and she dances in the air. And that's my favorite part about her. So good. I think that she's just your average teenager. You know what I mean? She liked all the mystery that was happening. You can tell that she liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we give our thoughts on the live action movie, before we get our what we thought, let's talk about the animated series. I want to talk about the animated series first. I want to talk about the animated series because me and him both remember the animated series when we were kids. What did you think of the animated series, dude?
I actually love the animated series. As a kid, I would watch that all the time when it came on. And my God, the cartoon was so funny. I mean, it just, sort of.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I just love the fact, the cartoon was just so hilarious. And yeah, and every time Lydia needed Beetlejuice, and so as a kid and looking back on it now, I love the anthology. The cartoon.
Yeah.
And I love the cartoon. And even as a kid, like I say, even now, if I watched it again, I would. The cartoon is, I like it. I don't know if you guys have been remember it, but this cartoon was hilarious. And I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, what I remember about the animated series is that it was kind of sort of a different take on Beetlejuice and how he was. And as I said before, Lydia, even in the cartoon series, she kept him in line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time he would come up with something completely out of his head, out of his mind, she would keep him in line. And it was funny. It was funny to see Beetlejuice. And not only that, we got to see the Netherworld. We got to see more of the Netherworld than what we saw just from the film, the live action adaptation of Beetlejuice. What did you think of the world, dude? The Netherworld, when watching the cartoon series.
The Netherworld looked kind of strange. It is different than the real world because they have their own thing. It's kind of like sometimes like in the Netherworld you'll see their own places. Sometimes it's like a restaurant or something. They're trying to make it look like the real world, but in a more stranger way. You know what I'm saying? And more twisted kind of. I don't think what I mean. Like more, stranger would cover it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where Beetlejuice is at home in that world. But I remember, like, when they would go to the Netherworld, you see how wild, weird, and wacky it was. You know what I mean? And in the real world. So.
Yeah, I think in the cartoon series, my favorite character in the cartoon series.
When Julia gets here, tell her there's a clean towel so she can dry herself up.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. But I think the character that I thought was the most hilarious besides Beetlejuice in the cartoon series. Remember a French skeleton? Remember a French skeleton by the name of Jocks? I love that character. I thought he was funny as shit. The monster across the street was, if you guys remember the cartoon series, there was a guy, there was a monster that looked like a monster version of Yosemite Sam. But he was kind of like Gossamer from Looney Tunes, but not really.
Yeah.
But I thought it was completely hilarious. But yeah, so I think between this and the cartoon series, I give this a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Beetlejuice was the funniest damn movie you could ever come up with, that Tim Burton has ever come up with, besides Batman, the 1989 Batman, which we'll get to another day. But even still, I love Beetlejuice. I love the cartoon series. I love the live action series. I cannot wait if they do a sequel. I've been hearing this for years now, that they're going to do a sequel to the first Beetlejuice. I hope so. I freaking hope so. For God's sakes, I hope so. If they do it, please stay within the story. Please keep that the hilarious side of Beetlejuice. Don't go dark like all these other adaptations, all these other shitty adaptations and stuff like that. And
keep it the way it's supposed to be.
And I heard that it was supposed to be. I heard that it was supposed to be about Lydia's daughter, apparently. If you're gonna do something like that, make the daughter just as gothic as Lydia was when she, because we know how gothic Lydia was. We know Lydia was a goth. Make her daughter out that way. You know what I mean? Make her make this really look really good. That's all I could really say about that. But let us know what you guys think. What did you guys think of the did you guys like the cartoon series back then when we were kids? Also, let us know what y'all guys thought about the live action version of Beetlejuice. What did y'all think of the characters with that? Also, I want to hear your thoughts. You guys' thoughts on the sequel. Do you think what is your thoughts on the sequel to Beetlejuice? Let us know in the comments down below and all that. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 512 with Dark 997, and we'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.